Hello, how are you today? Welcome to my Facebook Live. I want to talk to you today about stress. Now, before I start, I don't want everybody to think, oh, she doesn't get stressed, because I get stressed just like everybody else. But there's different things of stress, I believe. I think the main thing of stress is when you doubt yourself. When I was talking to somebody earlier today who has a big competition coming up this weekend, and she was like, I'm so nervous, I hope I don't choke, what do I do? And I'm like, just be yourself. You're prepared for this moment, and trust. Trust the universe and trust in a higher power that all will be well and all will be well. As long as you're in your zone, as long as you're where you're supposed to be and you feel good about where you're at, then it'll all be good. All stress is doing is your ego telling you, you're leaving your comfort zone here, you're doing something new that you've never done before, you're gonna go be in a competition, you're gonna have to perform in front of people and you're not used to that. So why don't you get really stressed, and that way you don't have to do it. And that's how your ego responds. So when you feel yourself stressed, you really have to step back and say, am I stressed because I don't have the knowledge, the ability, whatever, to do what I want to do? Or is it my ego trying to protect me? And I'm going to say probably 99 out of 100 times it is your ego trying to keep you in your box. It doesn't want you to start anything new because harm could come to you in your ego's mind. But if you trust in the universe and you trust in a higher power, then all will be well. It always kind of amazes me that it seems like people that say, oh, I believe and I trust and I give my life. And then you're like, why are you so stressed? I don't know if this is the right thing to do. If you're going to attempt it, it's the right thing to do. Now, I'm not saying everything you go to attempt and everything you do is going to be perfect, because that's not true. We all go down many paths. And I've gone down paths and I've been stressed out and it works out well, and I've been stressed out and it hasn't worked out well. But in retrospect, I realized when it hasn't worked out well, I wasn't in my zone of excellence. I wasn't in my zone of what I do well. I was venturing out of something not for me, but to satisfy somebody else, or out of fear of following my zone of excellence, I tried many different courses. But when you know you're on the right track, and when you feel good about where you're at, and you feel good about yourself, it will lower your stress level. Now, I'm not saying you completely eliminate stress, because we're always going to have that fight or flight part of our DNA. It's what's there. It's who we are, it's how we're made. So that's never going to go away, but you can ratchet it down if you just know that what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing at that moment in time. And that you have been brought to this moment to do exactly what you're doing. Now, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean you get even doubly stressed out, because now you go through oh my God, what a loser, I was going to perform and I didn't do well, I choked, I did whatever. Instead, you need to say, well, why didn't it go well? Did I allow my monkey brain take over and hold me back? Or is it just not my jam? And if it's not your jam, then how can you get upset? You got ready to do it, and you looked around and thought, you know what, this just isn't what I want to do. Not everybody wants to be in competitions. Not everybody wants to be the center of attention. A lot of people want to stand back. So if you're a person that wants to stand back, then don't get into something where you're going to be the center of attention. Not everybody wants to be a leader. I always say, because I work in healthcare, we have caregivers, we have nurses, we have doctors and EDs and etc. Not everybody wants to be an executive director. A lot of people are happy being caregivers. They're here to be caregivers because they are caregivers. They give love. They're happy being that. And some of us swoop in and it's like, well, you shouldn't be happy being a caregiver. You should be happy being a executive director or a nurse or a doctor. Well, we're minimizing who they are. We're not respecting them. We need to revere them and respect that they had the courage and strength to say, this is who I am. So when you feel stressed, just stop and back up for a second and say, where is this stress coming from? Is it coming from a place of, I am totally, totally unprepared for this, I didn't practice, I didn't do whatever because I don't want to do this? Or is it coming from oh my gosh, this is a new experience, oh, should I really do this? Because if it's coming from the latter, oh my gosh, this is a new experience, but your next thing can be, I planned, I prepared for this, I'm ready for this, then you have to go forward. All failure means is one more way not to do something. I love failure. I have failed so many times, I can't even tell you how many times. I have failed on the front page of the Arizona Republic above the fold. I have failed by falling off a stage during a presentation. I have failed in so many countless ways. I can't even think of all the ways I failed. But I embrace it because it just makes me stronger. It's like, okay, and it makes me, you know, I'm competitive in certain areas. I'm not competitive in sports at all. If I win, lose, I don't care. It's just not that big of a deal. But I am competitive in things that I really like. And so when I fail, it's like fuel. It's like jet fuel. It's just like if somebody comes up to me and says, you can't do this. You know, who are you to write a book? It is like you have just given me jet fuel to ignite me, because it's how I respond to things. Don't ever tell me I can't do something, because I will. So when I get stressed, I have to stop back and think. And also you can get stressed because it may, as a leader, you're responsible for all this stuff and you may not be sure everybody else is going to step up. And that's a different kind of stress. That's a good stress because you know your team's ready to go, they're locked in, then it's all good. It's just a little iffy. Or when you have other people. We do conferences every year. So when we go to the hotel, I get stressed because of the hotel. I don't know if they're going to keep their end of the deal. Like last year, the AV company that we used, Premier Audio, they were awful, just terrible. Their equipment just was awful. You know, so we had our big luncheon and nobody could hear. And we had people from all over to talk at the luncheon. So that stress is okay. It's a stress where your monkey brain tells you you can't do it. If you can believe it, if you can see it, you can achieve it. So have the courage, have the faith, move forward, and if you fail, who cares? Everybody fails. There's nobody on this earthly experience that hasn't failed. We all fail. Okay, so don't allow stress to ever hold you back. Go after what you want. Go after with all the gusto you have. Trust the universe, and all will be given. Okay, if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. I do have a new program. If you want to go over to my website, Reimagine Your Future by Rewriting Your Past. We all imagine our future, but sometimes it's imagined through other people's lenses. I want you to reimagine and see it through your true lens. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.